Yeah, that's right. This is Resident Evil 0. This was exclusively for the GameCube. And, this was one of 3 GameCube exclusive Resident Evils, which was one reason why I bought a GameCube. They got Resident Evil Remake, then Resident Evil 0, and finally Resident Evil 4. Resident Evil 4 was eventually ported to other systems, but Resident Evil 0 remained exclusive to Nintendo. As most Resident Evil games on the GameCube, it's on 2 discs. Let's pop one in and check it out. This game came out on November 12th, 2002. Like I said, it was an exclusive for the Nintendo GameCube.
Really?
Do you think so too?
Yeah.
Do about it.
Should hold off for a while.
But I wonder how those R&D people would react to this.
Alright, so as you can see, this game starts off on a train. Although, don't be worried if you've seen the beginning of this game, you do not spend the whole game on a train. Just the first, say, quarter of the game is on this train.
This is Officer Chambers from STARS Bravo team. Please identify yourself. Is someone there?
The government has announced that it has set out to help our farmers. But as of 2 years ago, when a similar fund was set up, the local government stepped in and took over.
As you can see, this one uses pre-rendered backgrounds, and it plays pretty much like the first 3 Resident Evil games. It looks amazing on the GameCube, especially when they use MPEG video for the pre-rendered background. Now here you meet Billy. Billy's actually a bad guy, and at first your main character's hesitant to go along with him. But as you try and go through the game on your own, you realize that, well, you're in over your head, and eventually Billy ends up saving you. This game's called Resident Evil 0. It's because it actually takes place before Resident Evil. It's basically a prequel. As you can see, you're playing as Rebecca Chambers. You'll probably remember her from the first Resident Evil game. She makes an appearance.
Listen, we gotta cooperate with each other from now on. You got that?
Well, I don't...
Clue in, girl. Or maybe you like being worm bait.
Alright, but you just remember I will shoot you if you try anything funny.
Fine. Now take these with you. If you find anything, give me a call, alright?
Now here you can see the train has started to move. That's a problem because, well, you didn't think there was anyone on the train, and, well, how are you going to get off it? But here you can see the lighting, you know, the way the train's moving and the lights are coming through the windows. I mean, it just looks awesome. You know, and like I said, this is MPEG pre-rendered backgrounds. So, although it looks amazing, there's actually no real-time 3D, there's no real-time lighting or anything like that. It's all done through, you know, trickery and pre-rendered video. But, you know, it all comes together so well, and it just looks amazing. Now, once you start playing with Billy, this is where this game really differs from the first three, is that you can control both characters. You can either play as Billy or you can play as Rebecca. You can either have the second character follow you around, or you can have them go off somewhere else. Now, there's a lot of puzzles in this game where one character may need to be in one area while another's in another, and there's some puzzles where you need to work together. You can also carry each other's items, you can share items, and take advantage of the abilities of the characters. Obviously Billy's stronger, he does more damage and he can take more hits, but he can't combine herbs. Rebecca can combine herbs, she can also use things like the lockpick and figure out some things like that that you can't do with Billy. So there's parts in the game where you're going to need to use one or the other character. Now eventually you get off the train the hard way. And if you manage to survive that, well, you're gonna be met with a horde of zombies outside of the train wreck. Great fun. If you can manage to not die here, you're gonna end up inside the next part of the game. This is the Umbrella training facility.
The Umbrella Research
and it's
Center?
pretty big. This is a big part of the game here. And, you know, it almost looks and plays like a mansion, so this makes it feel a little bit more like Resident Evil, which is awesome. And it's nice to get out of the train. Resident Evil 0 was actually first unveiled in Tokyo in 2000, and the game was originally slated for the Nintendo 64. They thought that the extra memory on the cartridge would be an asset towards the dropping system in this game. In this game, you don't have to store your items in bins. In the first 3 Resident Evil games, you have certain areas in the game where you can drop your items into. In this, you can drop your items anywhere, and it will remember where they are. Production eventually shifted from the Nintendo 64 to the GameCube. They were worried about doing this on a disc-based system like the Dreamcast or the PlayStation because of load times and the way you have to change the game from one character to the other. And every time you change from one character to the other, there'd be more load times. They didn't necessarily have the RAM to handle that at the time, and so it ended up basically going on hold until the GameCube eventually came out a few years later. And like I said, this game remained Nintendo exclusive. This never saw the PlayStation 2 The only system this game was ever ported to was the Wii in Japan. And anyways, I'm running out of time. This is a wicked game. If you're a Resident Evil fan and you missed this one, yeah, it's definitely one to check out. If you have a GameCube or a Wii, remember you can play your GameCube games on the Wii. You should probably try and pick this one up.